Okay, I'm going to read the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 11, and this is the Douay-Rheims Catholic translation of the Bible. Christ teaches his disciples to pray, casts out a dumb devil, confutes the Pharisees, and pronounces woes against them for their hypocrisy. And it came to pass that as he was in a certain place praying, when he ceased, one of his disciples said to him, Lord, teach us to pray as John also taught his disciples. And he said to them, when you pray, say, Father, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, for we also forgive everyone that is indebted to us, and lead us not into temptation. And he said to them, which of you shall have a friend, and shall go to him at midnight, and shall say to him, Friend, lend me 3 loaves, because a friend of mine is come off his journey to me, and I have not what to set before him. And he from within should answer and say, Trouble me not, the door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give thee. Yet if he shall continue knocking, I say to you, although he will not rise and give him, because he is his friend, yet because of his importunity, he will rise and give him as many as he needeth. And I say to you, ask and it shall be given to you, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be opened to you. For every one that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. And which of you, if you ask his father bread, will he give him a stone? Or a fish? Will he for a fish give him a serpent? Or if he shall ask an egg, will he reach him a scorpion? And if you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father from heaven give the good Spirit to them that ask him? And he was casting out a devil, and the same was dumb. And when he had cast out the devil, the dumb spoke, and the multitudes were in admiration at it. But some of them said, He casteth out devils by Beelzebub, the prince of devils. And others, tempting, asked of him a sign from heaven. But he, seeing their thoughts, said to them, Every kingdom divided against itself shall be brought to desolation, and house upon house shall fall. And if Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because you say that through Beelzebub I cast out devils. Now if I cast out devils by Beelzebub, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore they shall be your judges. But if I, by the finger of God, cast out devils, doubtless the kingdom of God is come upon you. When a strong man armed keepeth his court, those things are in peace which he possesseth. But if a stronger than he come upon him and overcome him, he will take away all his armor, wherein he trusted, and will distribute his spoils. He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through places without water, seeking rest, and not finding. He saith, I will return into my house whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it swept and garnished. Then he goeth and taketh with him 7 other spirits, more wicked than himself, and entering in they dwell there. And the last state of that man becomes worse than the first. And it came to pass, as he spoke these things, a certain woman from the crowd, lifting up her voice, said to him, Blessed is the womb that bore thee, and the paps that gave thee suck. And he said, Yea, rather blessed are they who hear the word of God and keep it. And the multitudes running together, he began to say, This generation is a wicked generation. It asketh a sign, and a sign shall not be given, but the sign of Jonas the prophet. For as Jonas was a sign to the Ninevites, so shall the Son of Man also be to this generation. The queen of the south shall rise in the judgment with the men of this generation, and shall condemn them. because she came from the ends of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And behold, more than Solomon here. The men of Nineveh shall rise in the judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, because they did penance at the preaching of Jonas. And behold, more than Jonas here. No man lighteth a candle, and putteth it in a hidden place, nor under a bushel, but upon a candlestick, that they that come in may see the light. The light of the body is thy eye. If thy eye be single, thy whole body will be lightsome. But if it be evil, thy body also will be darksome. Take heed, therefore, that the light which is in thee be not darkness. If then thy whole body be lightsome, having no part of darkness, the whole shall be lightsome, and as a bright lamp shall enlighten thee. And as he was speaking, a certain Pharisee prayed him that he would dine with him. And he, going in, sat down to eat. And the Pharisees began to say, thinking within himself why he was not washed before dinner. And the Lord said to him, now you Pharisees may clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but your inside is full of rapine and iniquity. You fools, did not he that made that which is without make also that which is within? But yet that which remaineth give alms, and behold, all things are clean unto you. But woe to you, Pharisees, because you tithe mint and rue and every herb, and pass over judgment in the charity of God. Now these things you ought to have done, and not to leave the other undone. Woe to you, Pharisees, because you love the uppermost seats in the synagogues and salutations in the marketplace. Woe to you, because you are as sepulchres that appear not, and men that walk over are not aware. And one of the lawyers answering said to him, Master, in saying these things, thou reproachest us also. But he said, Woe to you, lawyers, also, because you load men with burdens which they cannot bear, and you yourselves touch not the packs with one of your fingers. Woe to you who build the monuments of the prophets, and your fathers killed them. Truly you bear witness that you consent to the doings of your fathers, for they indeed killed them, and you built their sepulchres. For this cause also the wisdom of God said, I will send to them prophets and apostles, and some of them they will kill and persecute, that the blood of all the prophets which was shed from the foundation of the world may be required of this generation. From the blood of Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, who was slain between the altar and the temple. Yea, I say to you, it shall be required of this generation. Woe to you, lawyers, for you have taken away the key to knowledge. You yourselves have not entered in, and those that were entering in you have hindered. As he was saying these things to them, the Pharisees and the lawyers began violently to urge him and to oppress his mouth about many things, lying in wait for him and seeking to catch something from his mouth that they might accuse him. What a great chapter. I'm going to put my 2 cents in here, so take it for what it is. So in the beginning here, Jesus teaches us to pray. I love this. I really do. And of course, he gives us the Our Father, which, now I don't go to the Novus Ordo, but they say it at the Novus Ordo. But you should say it anyway, in your prayers. It's a beautiful prayer. But Jesus gave us this prayer. And then he talks about how we have to persist in our asking. Because he says, like, if you have a friend and you go to his house because you need something, and your friend's in for the night, he might not give it to you, but he'll give it to you because you persist. He's not going to give it to you because you're his friend. He's going to give it to you because you persist. So he tells us to persist in prayer. We give up too soon. And quite frankly, people don't believe. I mean, this is really the crux of the matter. Because he says, I say to you, ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be open to you. So we have to ask God for everything. People say, oh, well, why didn't God do this? Why didn't God do that? Well, did you ask God? Did you bother to ask God? Probably not. You just sat there and expected everything to fall into your lap. But you have to ask. Asking is important. Lord, protect me today. Lord, guide me today. Lord, help my family. Lord, protect my family. Keep asking. Keep asking. Don't give up. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth. If you knock, it'll be open. Keep knocking. Don't give up. Right? And he says, look at you people, you're evil, and you give your kids good things. You think God, who's your true parent, is not going to give you good things? Right? If you ask him for an egg, he's going to give you a scorpion. That's what he says. I love that. That's really great. I mean, I've always looked to that since I was a child. He's telling us how to pray. So we have to ask and we have to believe. People don't believe. They ask half-heartedly, nothing happens, and they say, well, I knew it wasn't going to happen. Well, of course. You have to persist. The Bible tells us to persist in faith, and it will happen. But you have to persist. That's the hard part. That's on you. Then he says, they accuse him of being like, working for the devil because he casts out demons. Jesus was an exorcist and still is. And he says, listen, a house divided against itself cannot stand. I don't work for Beelzebub, right? That's what he was saying, for the devil. And then he says, if you're not with him, you're against him. And you get these people that say, well, I'm an agnostic. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Then you're with Satan. Because there's no in between. It's one or the other. It's light or darkness. If you're not on the side of light, you're on the side of the darkness. It's that simple. We are in a time now you have to choose. Who are you going to be with? You're going to be with the New World Order that's leading you to slavery, digital slavery, because that's where you're going to be if you persist in going on that side. Or you're going to be with Christ, who's going to dismantle their whole system. Be on the side that's right. So don't be on the side. If you don't join Christ, you're against him. It's that simple. That's what he says. And then he says what makes you impure is not your dirty hands or your dirty clothes or your dirty face. It's what comes out of you. It's your words, your thoughts. And that's why he says if the eye be single, right? I'm trying to find the part that he said. He's saying basically that, the issues of life come out of your mind, your consciousness, and you have to keep it single on positive, good things, which is on him. Right? God said if you think about him, he'll keep you in peace. When we think about all the problems in the world, we don't have peace. When we think about God, we have peace. Because we gain grace and we get that peace. So Jesus said you have to keep your mind straight. The eye. What's the eye? That's the consciousness. I don't think he's talking about physical eyes. He means the eyes of our mind, the consciousness. And we have to keep that straight. And then he makes references to all these people in history, like Nineveh and Jonah and Solomon and how they killed people of God who came to teach them. They killed them. They persecuted them. They do it today. Okay? Christianity is under attack. It's the only religion that you're allowed to criticize, and it's okay. Everyone else, though, oh my God, if you say something, forget it. The world's going to come to an end because you criticized another religion. But if you're a Christian, go right ahead. Criticize Christianity. And this is because there's persecution of Christians. Let's face facts, okay? Even in America. Especially here. And Europe. And he says, take heed, therefore, that the light which is in thee be not darkness. So make sure you're focused on the right things and you're with the light. He said, the light of thy body is thy eye, consciousness. If thy eye be single, then thy whole body be lightsome. Meaning, keep your consciousness on God, your mind on God. Then he condemns the Pharisees and calls them hypocrites and how they love their little positions of power and how they control the people. And they don't tell them things because they want to control them. This is what you live in. You live in a control grid, and it's just getting worse. It's getting worse. I mean, people are waking up to certain things, so there's some sort of freedom in that regard, but really they want to enslave us completely and absolutely. Absolutely. And it's about control. So he's condemning these religious leaders for controlling the people, putting upon them laws that they don't even follow, right? You see this. And it's not just in Catholicism. It's in other religions too. Orthodoxy, and then I'm talking about Christian Orthodoxy, and then the other religions. There's always hypocrites everywhere. And the Pharisees were huge hypocrites. And he says, in other Gospels, he says that their father is Satan. That's what he says. Because they're really not doing the will of God. They're into their positions. They're into, I get to sit in the good place in the temple. I get to be, honored at the banquets, and everybody looks at me like I'm a holy person. I mean, this is nonsense, but this is what's going on in other religions today. Just look around you and you'll see it. Okay, this hasn't changed. All right, but he condemns them, and then they try to they listen to him and they try to find something to trip him up. They want to get him. They want to make him look bad in front of the people, right? But they can't do that. This is the Son of God. And he says this, look what you have in front of you. Solomon didn't have this, Jonah didn't have this, but yet Nineveh repented. Look what you have in front of you, the Son of God, and you're not repenting. What's wrong with you, right? Jesus was I think, very disappointed in a lot of people because he said this generation has no faith. Well, I'll tell you right now, this generation has no faith because people just don't have faith. They don't believe, and that's why nothing happens for them. You have to believe in the unseen. The unseen is more real than the seen. I know that, and that's hard to believe because you're taught 24/7 that only the physical is real, but that is just not the case. Spiritual comes first, then the physical. And he condemns the lawyers too, because they put all these laws on people that they don't even follow. And look what we have in America, just so many laws. They keep making new laws. You can't keep track of all the laws. That's how you know it's a bad system, because they can't even keep track of all the laws. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. That's a great chapter. Take care.